You all for joining the call, and appreciate you being on. We have on the call today former Governor Joe Kernan here in Indiana, and then also Clinton Communications Director Howard Wolfson, and they are both here to talk about the false attacks against Senator Clinton's plan to provide relief to Hoosiers who are being hit hard by high gas prices. And with that, I will turn it over to Governor Kernan.
Thanks, Jonathan. Good afternoon, everyone. I just wanted to give you a little bit of background as well as a little bit of past experience, and we'll go from there. Over the course of the last month or so, particularly since we've had all of this attention focused on Indiana, one of the things that Hoosiers tell me is that they are particularly excited about the leadership role that Senator Clinton has taken in terms of reducing gas prices by implementing a tax holiday that would net about 25 cents a gallon for Hoosier families. And at a time when our families here are faced with worrying about not just how they're going to pay for gas, but how they're going to pay for groceries and all of the other things that they are facing in every day relative to healthcare costs and concerns about job security and where we are headed. They are appreciative of Senator Clinton taking this leadership role and understand that it will have an impact that for some folks may not sound like a lot of money, but when you keep adding it up at the pump every day, will be very, very meaningful savings for Hoosier families. Back in 2000, you may recall that Governor O'Bannon implemented a moratorium on the collection of the sales tax because gas prices in Indiana had spiked, but were higher than they were in other parts of the country, and an emergency was declared, and that was when gasoline was right around $2 a gallon. And here we are today with Hoosier families that are looking at $3.60, 70 cents, 80 cents, and more in terms of gas costs at the pump. This is and will be very, very meaningful. And I think it is my understanding that there is now some question raised as to the wisdom of this because it will supposedly cost some 6,000 Hoosiers their jobs. That nothing could be further from the truth, because from the very beginning, Senator Clinton, again, consistent with what she's done throughout this campaign, has been very clear about how she would pay for this tax holiday. And that would be on a windfall tax for oil companies. It is her belief that big oil companies ought to pay the gas tax this summer and not Hoosier families. And I couldn't agree with her more. And it's unfortunate that these kinds of misrepresentations find their way into the public discussion, particularly here at the 11th hour. And I just want to go on record and say that that is not true and has not been true from the time Senator Clinton first offered this plan and all that it would mean for Hoosier families.
Thank you, Governor. It's Howard Wolfson. I'm the communications director with the campaign in Arlington, and we'll be happy to take some of your questions after I make just a couple of remarks, because I think the governor said it well. Look, I think the dispute between Senator Clinton and Senator Obama is very clear, and it's a dispute over who is going to pay the gas tax this summer. Senator Clinton believes that the oil companies should pay the gas tax, and Senator Obama believes that average Americans should pay the gas tax. And that's really the crux of the debate that the two candidates are having. And frankly, it's a good debate, and we welcome the debate, because debates over policy are important, and they tell voters important things about both candidates. We're on the side of drivers, of working people, of people who are struggling to make ends meet and afford the price of gas. We believe that instead of forcing them to pay the gas tax, we ought to force the oil companies to pay the gas tax. Senator Obama disagrees, and he believes that we ought to continue to force Hoosiers to pay the gas tax themselves. And that's a critically important distinction given the high price of gas this summer, given the economic squeeze that middle-class families are facing and have faced during President Bush's tenure in office. And so the notion that anyone would lose their job is nonsensical. There is no revenue lost under Senator Clinton's proposal. The issue, as I said quite clearly, is who's going to pay the tax. The oil company's going to pay the tax, as Senator Clinton wants, or are average drivers going to pay the tax, as Senator Obama wants? And that is the crux of the policy debate that we are having here. It's similar, frankly, to a debate over a number of different issues, and there are some issue distinctions between Senator Clinton and Senator Obama. For instance, on housing policy, we believe that there ought to be a freeze on foreclosures and interest rate increases for people who have subprime mortgages, for people who are most at risk of losing their homes. We think they ought to be able to keep their home. We ought to have a freeze on people losing their homes under those conditions and those circumstances. Senator Obama disagrees. He does not favor a freeze on home foreclosures for subprime borrowers. He does not favor a freeze for interest rate increases for subprime borrowers. There's a difference on health care. Senator Clinton believes every person in America ought to be covered with health care. Senator Obama's plan leaves 50 million Americans out. So consistently, we are on the side of working people. We are on the side of people who are struggling every day to make ends meet. And that is why in state after state we have done better with blue-collar voters, with middle-class voters, with working-class voters, because they know that Senator Clinton is on their side. She has consistently championed a set of policies that tells them government is working for them, not against them. Senator Obama has not done as well with people who are working hard to make ends meet. And I think you see why in this dispute over the gas tax. Because, again, it's very clear we want to have the oil companies pay. Senator Obama believes that average people should pay. And to Senator Obama, the amount of money that could be saved presumably is not significant. He has essentially said as much. But we believe that for people who are struggling to make ends meet, who are working hard, who are living on fixed incomes, who are traveling long distances, who are running family farms, or who are working as truckers to bring goods and produce to markets, those are people who need help. And the amount of money that could be saved under Senator Clinton's plan for those folks is significant, $8 billion over the course of the summer. So for Senator Obama, maybe that's not a lot of money. But for Senator Clinton, she knows that people need help, and that's why she is advocating a fiscally responsible plan that would ensure those folks got the help that they need. And with that, I'm happy to take questions, and hopefully the governor can stay on for a little while. If not,
I'm with you.
Great. So why don't we, operator, if we can open it up.
And for those who have questions, if you'll press *1, your line will be opened up so you can ask your question.
Hi, Howard. This is Brian Tumulty from Gannett News Service. One of our Indiana newspapers wanted to get the campaign's response to the video that was posted by the Daily Kos of Mickey Canty.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and frankly, let me say that I appreciate the way in which folks in Indiana have approached this issue. They have not been nearly as irresponsible as some in calling any attention at all to what we now know is a doctored video. There is a statement by the producer of the video that the video was doctored. There is a statement on the NBC website that the video was doctored, and so what we have here is a doctored video that was shopped around, presumably by those who don't favor Senator Clinton's candidacy. And frankly, the question I would ask is anyone who got this video from somebody should ask that person why they were offering as accurate a video that was doctored by somebody who was attempting to smear Mickey Kantor and smear this campaign. So the story is, who decided to doctor this video, and were the people who were shopping it to reporters aware that the video had been doctored? And if they were not aware, should they have been aware? And at what point did they become aware? Because the video, as the producer of the original video says, it was doctored. It does not refer to Hoosiers whatsoever. So the story here is not what Mickey Kantor said or didn't say. It's who decided to doctor a video and really smear him in a way that I think is the worst thing, frankly, that I've seen during this entire campaign. We've had some debates over policy, and we've had some other debates, but I've never seen an example of where somebody set out to deliberately doctor a video and represent somebody saying something that they didn't say. So I frankly find that outrageous. I appreciate the fact that folks on this call were careful in their reporting, and I hope if you got this video from somebody, from a source, you'll ask that source why they were sending something like this around.
Howard, just to get the facts straight, is Mickey Kantor associated with the campaign? What is his association, and has he issued a statement about this?
I believe he has. There's something on the Huffington Post in which he did an interview with the Huffington Post. He is a supporter of our campaign, but he's not an employee of the campaign in any way.
Is he an advisor?
I think a lot of people advise this campaign. We're proud of the fact that he supports us. It's fair to call him a supporter. I would, and I appreciate the line of questioning. This is a video that was doctored by somebody designed to smear him. It is clear as day, 100%, no ambiguity that the video was doctored. The guy who directed the initial movie says that it was doctored. So the questions here, frankly, and I appreciate them, they really ought to be asked to the people who were shopping this video around, whether they know who did this and why they did it. The questions frankly are not most appropriately directed at us. Mickey Kantor is a victim of this. He didn't say the things that were purported that he said. He didn't say anything about Hoosiers. He didn't say anything about anyone in any derogatory way. And frankly, again, I appreciate the questions, but I think this is the most outrageous thing that has happened on this campaign so far. And the questions ought to be, frankly, directed at who did this and why they did it, and whether anyone on other campaigns or in other circumstances knew about it.
Thanks. Next question.
Mr. Wolfson, my name is Tom Abrams. I'm with the ABC station in Houston. Wanted to ask you if you think it is, in fact, realistic that Congress would pass a tax relief over the summer for gas tax, if there's the support for that, and if, in fact, there would be the support to get big oil and energy companies to pay for it.
Good question, and I appreciate it. Look, I think in a lot of respects, we're having an important national debate on this topic. You have Senator Obama has taken one position. He has argued on behalf of that position. He's run advertising on behalf of that position. Senator Clinton has taken a different position. She's argued on behalf of that position. She's run advertising on behalf of that position. We have a real debate over a policy difference that is ongoing, and certainly voters will have an opportunity to weigh in on these and other issues on Tuesday. My hope is that we will have an opportunity to get a sense of where voters are on this. We believe that our position enjoys support, but we'll have a better sense of that on Tuesday, and perhaps that will move the debate. Whatever the outcome is, will move the debate forward. We remain optimistic that some relief can be given to drivers and consumers, those who rely on their vehicles for a living, those who rely on them to commute. And on that, of course, as you say, we do believe that the oil companies ought to pay for this. It's not a question of losing the revenue. It's a question of who makes up the revenue and who pays the revenue. And we believe that it ought to be paid by the oil companies. And we have an election on Tuesday in which voters have seen this argument play out, and we'll see what they think.
So has she drafted legislation, or does she plan to draft legislation to at least get it on the floor?
Yes, we do have legislation that I believe we'll be moving forward on, and when we have the final details of that, obviously we will get that to everyone.
So then you're optimistic that Congress would in fact approve this?
Well, we believe that they should, and we hope that they will. And as I said, I think we are in the middle of an important debate on the issue. It has certainly caught the attention of the public, and we'll see what voters think on Tuesday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Mary Beth Schneider with the Indianapolis Star. I actually had wanted to ask you the same question the gentleman just now asked, but also, if this is such a great thing to do, why are we only talking about a holiday? Why not just eliminate the federal gas tax and replace it permanently with the windfall profits tax?
Well, Senator Clinton does believe that we ought to permanently ensure that the oil companies are paying in to the Treasury, and that those monies are used for investment and research in measures to wean ourselves off our dependence on foreign oil. So we are in favor of permanently ensuring that oil companies are paying more of their fair share.
Well, I think my question's more on the gas tax holiday. Why are we talking about May through Labor Day when it's already May and the chances of getting it enacted in time for Memorial Day seem slim to none? And then it ends in Labor Day, may not even get enacted by Labor Day. So why aren't we just talking about a permanent elimination?
Well, let's start with the summer, and we can revisit the question and the answer, at some later point. But our focus now is getting this done in the near term. You have a lot of holiday driving in the summer. You have a lot of families who might want to take a vacation, who might not be able to afford a plane ticket, but who would like to load up the kids and get in the car and go away for a weekend. And so we want to help those people in the near term, and that's what we're focused on.
Howard, it's Sylvia Smith with the Fort Wayne Journal-Gazette calling.
Sylvia Smith, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I say that just for folks who don't know, many years ago, I got my start in politics by working for Congressman Jim Johnts from Indiana's 5th Congressional District, and Sylvia and I were both a little bit younger then.
Indeed we were. Back on the video question, are you suggesting that there are Obama campaign fingerprints on the distribution of that video or the creation of it?
Well, what I'm suggesting is that people ought to ask that question. That I think that the appropriate question here is who did this? Who set out to deliberately and knowingly smear another person in a very terrible way? And then who distributed this video to reporters? There were certainly many reporters who became aware of this all at the same time. They know who distributed the video to them. I assume some of them got it off the record from sources that they presumably trusted. Others may have a different sense of where it came from. But, certainly I can imagine if the reverse were true, we'd be getting lots of questions about whether we had any involvement in this video. And I certainly think it's a fair question. If the answer is no, then the answer is no. But somebody did this. Somebody set out to do it deliberately, knowingly, to really defame and smear a good person and to hurt this campaign. And then other people, or maybe the same person or set of people, distributed it, shared it with reporters. And I think, it's reasonable to ask who did it. Certainly, as I said, I can imagine that we would be getting those questions if the reverse were the case. And if the answer is no, the answer is no. And if the answer is, yes, we distributed it and we didn't have anything to do with creating it, then that's an answer too. But I certainly think it is reasonable in the context of a campaign to ask those questions. I mean, as I said, I think this is really the worst thing that I've seen happen in this campaign so far. What somebody would set out to do this to another person is really disgusting, and there is no place for it in our politics. And I hope that reporters are able to get to the bottom of who did this and who distributed it and who shared it with others.
Let me ask the gas tax question, if I may, too. Governor Kernan said it was 25 cents a gallon, but I thought the federal gas tax was 18.4 cents a gallon, so maybe I don't understand Clinton's proposal.
I don't know if Governor Kernan is still on. I didn't hear him say that, but I still am. I'll tell you, the tax, the 24.4% per gallon tax, I know is on diesel, and I did make the representation. I assumed that it was the same on regular gasoline, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, Sylvia, you're right. It's lower. It's one thing for diesel and another for regular unleaded.
Thank you, Sylvia, for getting me off the hook somehow.
Sylvia, this is why I remember you with such fondness for all these many years. She was this good 20 years ago, folks. Well, I think that's all the questions we have. I appreciate everybody joining in the call, and happy to take any follow-ups if there are any. And thank you, Governor, and thanks everybody for spending some time with us today.